Of service, the RAF's E-3D Sentry said goodbye, touching down at RAF Waddington, the end of its operational life. During their 9-week deployment, the Sentry's aircrew flew 30 operational sorties, and on the tarmac to meet them, friends and family, all relieved to have them home.
After being away 81 days, it's pretty good to be back home and everything, and being on the last flight, returning back home is pretty emotional after being on the fleet for 9 years. So everyone has just been glad that everything went well in that.
This aircraft has done 30 years of continuous service from here at RAF Waddington. We've been all over the world working for NATO or the UK chain of command, been involved in every operation that the UK has undertook in the last 30 years. So it's an amazing aircraft, it's an iconic aircraft, and it's been an absolute privilege to fly on her. So it's tinged with sadness, but also with pride that we've come back from an operational deployment and really seen the aircraft and the squadron out on a high.
When the MOD cancelled the Nimrod programme in 1987, the RAF needed to hastily find an off-the-shelf airborne early warning system. The US Air Force had been flying the AWACS since the late 70s, and the RAF ordered 7, modifying the engines and redesignating it the E-3D Sentry. With its 360-degree radar, it can see aircraft 200 miles away, and just one E-3D can track planes and ships across an area the size of Poland. From the first Gulf War onwards, it's flown in every major conflict since the early 90s, most recently over Iraq and Syria in the war against the so-called Islamic State.
We've been to RAF Akrotiri in Cyprus, and we've undertook a number of mission profiles out there. We've undertook operation against Daesh to defeat Daesh overhead Iraq, so flying on Op Shader line. We've also continued our NATO assurance measures, flying all over Europe in support of NATO operations. And lastly, we've worked with the Carrier Strike Group as she's gone through the Mediterranean, supporting her and the F-35s on board as they've gone through the Mediterranean. Since the aircraft's inception 30 years ago, it was actually deployed on operations within a year of its in-service date. And since then, it has been on continuous operations, either deployed or at home for those 30 years. We've been involved in almost every operation that the UK has run and many NATO operations and exercises. So it's played a really vital contribution to UK defence.
The 2015 Defence Review recommended Sentry stay in service until 2035, but 2 years ago the MOD announced they'd be phased out, replaced by 5 E-7 Wedgetails, which will operate from RAF Lossiemouth. The new aircraft are costing £1.5 billion, but they aren't due to enter service for another 2 years. So what will fill the gap?
8 Squadron is not disbanding, we're very much staying alive. We'll be re-rolling into the E-7, which is a fantastic new capability, which we're really excited about. The Royal Australian Air Force are already flying it. We've already got our personnel forward located in Australia, learning to fly the aeroplane and engineer the aircraft. So we've got an exciting future ahead of us, and we can't wait to get started.
The Sentry fleet will be formally retired later this year. For the crews that have flown it, and for RAF Waddington, its home for so many years, it's the end of an era. This most distinctive of airborne guardians, gone forever. Simon Newton, Forces News. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.